Hey, amigos and amigas. For our next guest, we had to cut it into a couple of parts because we had plenty to talk about. Yeah, buddy.
Here. This is Doug as always, and I'm joined here by Seb.
Hey, Dougie, how you going?
Yeah, not too bad, man. How are you?
Yeah, can't complain.
Just us again? Just me and you? No,
gonna say.
it's not just us.
Not just us, but old mate called in sick again. I forget his name. Haven't seen him in that long.
Yeah, I know. He's MIA for a while,
Yeah.
right? But
What do you do?
we've got our super sub here. Fab. How you going, Fab?
Very good. How are we, gentlemen?
Yeah, not too bad, man.
How you
Just got
been?
I've said it last time and I was going to say it again. Adrian's a thing of the past.
Who's Adrian?
Exactly.
just a little message for you here already.
Thank you.
Thanks for
back,
stepping
bro.
up, mate. We knew we had you on the bench ready to go. You got not much to do these days, hey? You just,
Just sitting there waiting for the call.
the phone doesn't even ring. You just get hello.
I accidentally pocket dialed and it just happened that I had to be here today.
I'm pretty sure Adrian's actually probably tied up somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I can't come, guys. Sorry.
All right. We've got another guest.
Very special
Everybody.
guest.
Yeah. Some people might know him from football in Australia.
Mm-hmm.
Was Sydney FC captain and
Sydney FC legend, really.
yeah.
It hurts me saying that as a Wanderers fan.
Call it as it is, Hall of Famer.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It just so happens to be related to me.
So this is the better side of
Hang
the
on, is that
family,
his
it?
claim to fame? The fact that he's related to
Definitely.
you?
That's how everyone knows him. How else do you think people know him? Come on.
21 caps for the Socceroos.
We got Alex Bloss on the show.
Welcome, Alex.
How are you, boys?
Good, man. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good.
Thanks for making the trip out, mate. We appreciate it.
Nah, it's close to home for me, mate. So
Oh,
no
good
problem.
stuff.
No problem.
Alex, mate, before we get started, we normally have a tradition of we crack open a drink at the start of the show. Now, can you tell us what you've got there in your hot little hand?
All right. Well, you've pulled out a good old fashioned Aussie Foster's for me.
Yes, yes. And
Which
you've never
I've
had
never
one?
had. No, I've never had. So I'm looking forward to it.
Look at that. It's gold plated.
Yeah.
What does it say at the top? Something about finest lager or something?
Premium quality.
Premium quality, mate. Look at that. It's even got, it looks like photo quality. Look at that with all the dew on the top there.
All right.
So we're going to crack this open. Cheers,
guys.
Cheers.
All right.
Cheers.
Cheers, cheers.
Salud. Cheers. Thanks for coming on the show again, man. Appreciate it.
good.
Let's look at his face. He's looking up.
Yeah, it's strong.
Hang on. Fub's having a bit of a meltdown here. What have you got?
So I went and got Astral Drift. It's Colossal Brewing, Australian wheat
It's
beer.
like a cordial.
Colossal shit.
It was disgusting.
Yeah, there you go. It's well done.
If you're listening, I'm sorry, but
No, don't be sorry.
It's I've got the same thing, and it's really bitter.
it's very bitter.
All right.
And it just keeps getting bitter.
It's like a mixture of
Bitterer.
it's got
Bitterer.
like grapefruit in it or something like that.
He's going for another sip of the Fosters.
It just wants that.
Loosen up.
Excuse me 1 second. You guys know where to find us. Amigos Down Under podcast on Instagram, Facebook, and I believe YouTube.
Yeah, how's everyone been? It's a bit humid today, isn't it?
It's
Weird.
yeah, well, 4 seasons in a day.
Yeah.
It was disgustingly hot this morning. Then this storm just hit out of nowhere, and we're back to being
Cooled right
disgustingly hot.
down. Now it's hot and fucking muggy again.
Yeah, welcome to Australia.
Alex, man, how have you been? What have you been up to?
Well, the football started back up, so I'm doing a little bit there just with the sideline stuff that I do and got a radio show that I do once a week. So from a football point of view, that's about it, man. Like that's enough to sort of keep me ticking over, keep me involved, which is all I'm happy doing at the moment. I've got some other stuff I've been doing for years, even when I was playing, some property stuff. So still in the background, just doing that day to day. And man, my missus has gone back to work, something she's been wanting to do since the kids are grown. So And I'm doing housewife duty. I'm taking the kids to school, picking them up, doing the dishes during the day.
That's the dream, mate. What are you talking about?
Well,
That's
I don't
the
know about a dream, but I'm doing it.
Mate, I'll tell you now, I tell my missus all the time, you work your ass off because I want to be a stay-at-home husband. Fuck this shit. Fuck going to work. I'll take the kids to school. I'll do all that shit. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, but see, like even me, like now I've got some time on my hands. I moved the house and I have to do something. It's killing. Even after work, it's quiet. My brother finishes work at late at night. So I come home to an empty house.
Yeah.
Normally I would have, if 18 would have loved it.
Yeah.
Hate it.
Too quiet.
And for a short while, I did love it. Mrs. went back to work, and it was just quiet in the house. I had all this time. I got to watch NBA, do the stuff that I had to do.
Yeah.
But now, I'm like, far out, man. I can't keep doing this. You
Yeah,
know?
fair enough.
To be fair, but like you're still relatively young, right? And considering that you're, I would say semi-retired because you're retired from football, even though you're still involved doing other stuff.
Yeah.
But it's to fill the time like every day. It's hard, and I need to be doing something always.
No.
PlayStations are just not cutting it anymore. Just jump online anymore.
How'd that go for you, man? Like you were a professional footballer, achieved some amazing things, and not even just the spotlight and all that, but just that day to day, always something to do. Like I read about a lot of like NRL players and all that. They're so used to always on the go, always doing something. Their life is basically planned out for them, and then all of a sudden it just stops. How was that for you?
For me, it wasn't bad. Like that routine that you're talking about of just having your year basically planned out. You get a couple of weeks off at the end of the year, and that's about it. But you just get stuck in that sort of way. And then, at the end of the day, I was 35, 30, whatever I was when I stopped playing. You've been doing it your whole life to then all of a sudden have to flick that switch, like you said, and you don't have that anymore. It can go one of sort of two ways. You can either get really a lot of people find it difficult and they need that routine and structure in their life. For me, I was looking forward to the day I retired for a little while. So it just gave me time to just appreciate all the little things that we're away so much that you sort of just you're in and out a lot, and you miss a lot of things, and the kids sort of just they're growing and you almost miss a lot of it. So I think for me, getting all that back, getting my weekends back, that's what I started to appreciate. And then for me now, it's trying to kick myself back into gear. So I find myself getting lazy because of it, and I always said as soon as I, even with the way I had to be physically and look after myself, whatever, I thought as soon as I stopped playing, man, I want to hit the gym. I want to become big. And I just didn't. I thought, I want a year off. I just want a year of no.
Yeah,
I don't want a drop of sweat on my forehead at all. And then it became 2 and 3, and now motivation. That's the hard part for me. So
fair enough.
But touching on that, when like going away a lot, like we noticed that. How did that affect you? Like being away for so long?
Well, see, those parts of it I feel like helped me in many ways, because I found when I stopped, I started to snap at things a lot quicker. I was on to my kids, a lot quicker, whereas before, because I'd miss all the day-to-day stuff, my missus is like, you're now seeing what I deal with every day, right? And she's like, and I like, I get it. But I wouldn't see all of that. So I'd come back and they come running to me, hug, and we play and all that. And that's all I'd see. Yeah. But now I'm seeing the little ways they annoy each other, and that's annoying me. And, and then I start to snap a lot quicker, and you change, and it's hard because you've got to sort of try and flick that switch again to think, man, I don't want to be that angry dad all the time. I need to try and remember what I was like and try and let things go a bit more. But it is hard. It is hard being around now all day.
Almost like two different lives.
And Alex is starting soccer again next season for some reason.
I've always wanted to ask, right? Like, let's say, and we did discuss this beforehand, and we talked to you about it too. We're gonna talk obviously a little bit about your career because it's an amazing career, but we want to more learn about you. With professional athletes, the toll it takes on your body. Like people are soccer players, and I've been one of them. I've been one of them to say that. But the amount of games you play,
exactly?
Yeah,
well, that depends. They dive. They're pussies. They dive. They take a dive. All that crap.
There we go. That's it. That's what I wanted.
But the toll it still takes on your body, the amount of games you play, the hours you put in, the training, all that crap, and then as you get older, it is more difficult to recover. Is that correct?
It's 100%. And yeah, look, it doesn't matter what sport you play. It can be, I mean, I guess you're comparing us to rugby league guys, right? Who just bash each other all
Pretty
day.
much,
and,
yeah.
And look, their careers probably aren't as long for that reason, right?
100%,
The physical toll on their body. For us, it's different, right? We can play a bit longer, but you still, every day that you're out there a couple of hours, as you get older, that you start to get, muscle issues and joint issues, ligament issues, and the recovery is what's difficult, right?
Yeah.
So, but for the back end of my career, like on recovery days, I'm watching the young kids kick the footy around and just muck around the day after a game, and I'm hurting watching them. I just think, how are they walking, let alone running from this ball? So it wasn't until like Thursday, Friday that I was fully recovered and playing again Saturday. It just then that affects your brain and you start to become mentally exhausted with the whole thing. So
I think I can relate to that in some ways. That if I have a big night of drinking on Saturday, I'm not fully recovered till Thursday.
Yeah,
well, think about exactly.
At least.
Yeah.
When you were younger, you're going 2-3 nights in a row.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So
Wake up, having a drink. Yeah, but now it's like, when did I have a big night? 3 weeks ago. Oof.
yeah.
Still
Not
struggling.
enough time in between.
So Alex, can we ask where were you born? Were you born in Australia or were you born overseas?
I was born here.
You were born here. Whereabouts?
Yeah. In Westmead Hospital, exactly.
Westmead.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Very cool. That's 1983.
It was, 1983. Couldn't tell you where we were living back then. As a baby, newborn, you know my
Canley Heights?
background better
Canley
than
Vale?
me.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it was
No, we moved. It might have been Canley Vale,
Canley Vale.
then Canley Heights.
Yeah,
I
that's-
might be wrong.
No, that's what I think it was.
Vice
That's what I think it was.
versa.
And I actually remember
It's still in that Canley area.
yeah, it was around
Canley something.
Because when I was born, we were there too.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And siblings?
Yeah, got a brother, sister, both younger.
Those are the oldest.
Also, yeah. Also born here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my parents came here when they were, I think they were 15, 16.
Yeah, mum
wow.
and dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were, around that.
Yeah.
Around that time.
So
Where'd they come
were
from
quite young.
then?
They were quite young. Where?
What's our background?
From Uruguay.
Yeah.
Both parents?
Both.
Both, yeah. Okay.
Both
cool.
came around. There was a big migration push
Mm-hmm.
from Australia to all over the world, to get people to come here and work and settle. And a lot of people came from South America and Uruguay in that time. So they came quite young with their families and
Okay.
struggled and in their own ways and dealt. It was different coming,
Very different.
coming to Australia back then.
Would have been.
For sure.
Now, I mean, it's the multicultural country that we know, but back then it was very different. So our parents had dealt with it in their ways growing up, but then met each other quite young. My parents got married when they were 18.
Oh, wow.
Had me when they were 19.
Oh, wow.
And
So they got here, what, late 70s, 80 odd, 79, 80, thereabouts?
so they're both in 62, 63. So
Yeah.
late 80s, late 70s.
Late 70s, yeah.
Do you know if do they come to like a what's it called, the hostel?
Yes.
And hang there? Yeah.
I think it was.
They're in Villawood.
Yeah, it was around the Villawood area.
yeah.
Yeah. I think it was with all, that big.
You could tell me whether this is true. My dad was telling me, right? He said that apparently they were supposed to go down to Melbourne, and then they saw someone at the Sydney airport, and they said, "Nah, why are you going down to Melbourne? It's a shithole. Stay here in Sydney." And then they so like, all right. So they.
Yeah, I know. Don't know the story exactly, but that sounds.
I mean, I only found out this recently. My dad was telling me. So I'm
Wow.
guessing your mum was on that same flight here. So
our grandparents, I think, they were meant to go to New York originally.
okay.
Something, something like that.
Funny,
So obviously, just for the ones that weren't paying attention to the start, Fab, how do you know Alex?
So my mum and his dad, brother and sister. So we're first cousins.
First cousins. There you go. Yeah.
There we go.
So your mum, his dad.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
You speak Spanish?
Look, a little bit, and not all that much. More so now. So my wife, she is Uruguayan as well. Background, she was born there.
Yep.
So with her parents, they still
of course.
speak Spanish a lot better than their English. You know what? Their English is like my Spanish. I would
Okay.
say.
Oh, so that's not too bad then. You can get by.
I
You can
definitely get by. I can understand. I can read it.
sweet.
It's
So you get
more
by.
that I'm self-conscious about
Yeah,
it. So
okay.
I don't really, unless I have to, I don't do it.
Yeah, fair enough.
I would say out of everyone though, it'll be he's the more punctual. Like he speaks really well Spanish compared to us.
Yeah.
Punctual is not the right word, right? But
So you're more housing
I'm
in
actually
the way you speak.
no. So it's funny because I would say me, Alex, Samantha for sure. So my sister.
Mm.
I don't know if Jessica speaks that much.
I think she understands.
Yeah, everyone understands it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the
Except
one
my brother.
I would say, and mine.
my brother's the same.
Look, the younger the cousins get, the less they know.
Yeah,
Literally.
I think so. Yeah, because they're the baby. No one bothers. Everyone
See-
just talks to them in English.
But we had our grandparents. So like my grandfather lived with us. So we spoke. He didn't even bother with English. Did not care for it at all. So we only had to speak Spanish.
But being forced to as well for me, that kept me speaking. And like I said, with my in-laws, and then in playing, every now and then I would have to do like a radio interview or you know, at the ground with a Spanish-speaking journalist. So it's sort of it just kept me needing to know how to do it. Otherwise, I'd sound like an idiot. You know.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, no, but we all understand. Or majority.
And speak.
Yeah.
So we know that your parents are from Uruguay. They met here though, yeah?
They met here.
Yeah, okay, cool. And you've got siblings that were born here as well, just like yourself. Have you ever been to Uruguay? Have you ever been there for a holiday or anything?
No,
Never?
Never been.
Any intention?
I don't know. You know, it's one of them, like my gym program, right? I had every intention of going and doing it, and just things got in the way. You know, I always said that because, when my parents came and growing up, there wasn't that real heavy patriotism. Would that be the word?
No,
That
exactly
a lot
the
of
word,
people have, you know.
Yeah.
And maybe because they came over so young, I think could be the case. So it was, my dad went when he was a bit younger, but once I was born, they never went back.
Okay.
So they never took us back.
Yeah.
And then when my football career sort of started and during that, I actually never, I mean, I've been all around the world, but never been to South America at all.
Oh, wow.
And always thought, you know what, when I finish playing, I'd love to go one day. I'd love to visit, love to see where my parents are from. Then I had a daughter right at the back end of my career, and then had a couple. And then when I finished, I think the age that they were at and the things that we were sort of told from people that had gone there and not that it's dangerous, no more so than probably anywhere.
Yeah.
Certain areas in every country.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
obviously,
I know what you,
but
we know what you're saying.
you know
man,
what I
yeah.
mean? I just thought, look, I'd rather the kids probably get a bit older so that I'd feel more comfortable. you know?
Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
and then,
But not just that, man. They enjoy it more too. They actually remember.
100%.
And
Like
they'll retain what
100%.
they've done. What
Because
they've
my wife, she
experienced.
went when she was in her, I think 12, 13, something like that, and she loved it, you know.
Yeah.
But taking my girls now, they wouldn't remember it, so it'd be
Yeah,
parents.
yeah, true.
Yeah, that's right.
So one day.
Yeah. And Fab, how many times have you been again?
I've been once.
Yeah.
I was meant to go for a month.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Stayed for 6.
Yeah. Overstayed is welcome.
6 months.
Yeah.
6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah. 6 months. It was just, for me, it was just because the currency conversion was ridiculous. Like it was,
Yeah.
That's right. You were saying,
Man,
when we
look,
talked about it.
in a nutshell, only $5,000. $5,000 lasts you a month if you're lucky here.
If you're lucky, bro.
If you're lucky
If you're
here.
lucky, yeah.
The only reason I didn't stay longer was because by the 6th month, that's when I went, oh shit, I got no money left.
Fuck.
And then I came back.
But you haven't been back since, right?
Back to life.
I've been
Back
back
to
since.
reality.
And I, you know what, to be honest, I probably wouldn't go back.
Okay.
I probably
Well, you've
wouldn't
done
go. I've done it.
Yeah.
The people that I cared about that lived there, like my dad's side mainly, because that's who I was with the most.
Yeah.
They've all passed away.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Yeah.
like, if I go back, it'll be just to see something that I've already seen.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I will contemplate it if there's a World Cup there or if there's like massive.
There is. Isn't there going
Whoa.
to be World Cup games there?
Yeah, but
Oh,
that's
is
like
it? No,
that's,
it's not-
it's
yeah,
3
it's-
games. It's only 3 games.
When?
It's still a game. They're
30,
going to do it
1930.
after 6 countries.
6 countries, bro. 2 continents.
Is that the US one? No, because there's a US,
no.
Mexico, and Canadian
one
one.
after.
Oh, okay.
Isn't
Canada
it
one.
celebrating 100 years?
100 years.
Yeah.
100 years.
So-
That's why it's in Uruguay to mark the first
Yeah,
100.
that's right.
1930. was the
Are you
first one.
going to try and head over to SBS and be a correspondent, bro? I'm telling you, bro. That's what you should be working
the way to
towards.
get
And then
over
all of
there,
a sudden they go, oh, well, we got to send you over.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
well,
mean, you
that's-
speak
that's-
Spanish, it helps.
I guess so.
Why not?
That's if they get it right. It was Optus Sport.
It was,
No,
but
SBS
SBS have got it for the next one.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
they usually get it.
They usually do. Yeah.
I don't know how no one else puts in for. Surely Paramount Plus and 10 are going to bid for it because, come on, man. Like,
Tenure thing. You saw what happened with the Matildas. That was
Oh, mate,
crazy.
it's-
And
Oh,
$7
man.
the rights for like nothing. I heard.
yeah. and they made a killing from it. They've literally broken records.
Now-
the 3 games in WA sold out
Yeah.
before game 1.
They're
Sold
well
out.
deserved too.
Oh, of
Yes,
course, man. They killed
definitely.
it.
They're doing really well.
How's
they
that
did.
Foster's treating you, man?
Man, it's not bad.
Hey,
to
all
be fair, I'm
right.
not a big beer drinker, so I mean, people might be offended, but it tastes like every other beer to me.
Fuck 'em, mate. Fuck 'em.
Enjoy it because you can't really get it anywhere in Australia. So.
Yeah, it's actually really hard to get that beer.
Is it actually?
Yeah,
It is. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. They don't sell it here. It's
Foster's?
no, it's our export beer.
Ah,
So it's only sold everywhere else in the world
So
except in Australia.
everyone else thinks we drink shit.
Yeah.
Not even piss. Shit.
Yeah, no, I had to order that online.
wow.
I've got a case of it now.
So you got
Stuck with it.
Australian beer imported back to Australia.
That's right.
Do you have any left?
I think I got a 6-pack. or so.
Okay, because that was the last one that I've had
Okay,
here.
yeah,
anyway,
no,
from
I
the
still
other
got a little
ones.
bit left over.
Yeah. I'll just go grab one
Bro,
of these
that
ones.
is a terrible
It's
beer.
terrible beer. The one that I'm drinking.
Well done. Well done.
Yeah.
Well picked.
Well, you got to try them to not like them, right?
So what do you drink if you are gonna moisten the lips? What do you drink, mate?
Normally, just Scotch and Coke. That's my go-to.
Wow, we have a few varieties around here. So
Top
that's
shelf too, if
that's
you can do
Doug's. No, I've got more top shelf up there.
Doug's going straight there. I love it.
Yeah,
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Always
he does.
straight.
He goes straight and neat.
Straight. All right, if we go back, Uruguay. Do you have any family in Uruguay?
Yeah, we would have. I don't know personally any of them.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's getting smaller, but yeah.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah,
Yeah. So mainly our grandfathers and grandmothers' siblings. They had quite a few each.
Yeah, yeah.
So a pretty big family
I
kind
think
of extended over there.
I think our grandmother's sister, the last one that was left from that side of the family, she passed. She was living in Israel. She passed away a couple of years ago at 104 years old or something.
Shit.
Like that. Yeah, something crazy. Hopefully we get those genes.
Yeah,
And so our grandfathers, I think there's one sister left.
right.
I think, unless she passed away, and then that's it.
And Alex, your wife, does she have family over there?
She does, yeah. I've met some of her cousins have come out here, and I've met them. But she, like I said, she went over, so she's in more contact with her cousins back there
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So
Now, if we move back to Australia, how was your childhood in Australia? Were you always in Canley Heights for quite a while, or did you move?
we're in
from-
Canley Heights up until I think my brother was born, and then we sort of needed to move out, find somewhere a bit bigger. And we moved to Bosley Park, and that would have been, I think, when I was about 7 or 8.
Okay.
And lived in Bosley Park right up until I moved out of home. So, man, my childhood, I love my childhood, man. Like I don't have, my memory's shocking. So thinking back to specific moments, like Fabian, man, his memory is ridiculous. He tells me about times and days that we did this. I'm like, man, all right, I believe you. Did
I have a good time?
man? Well, yeah.
Sweet.
We did.
Well, that's all right then.
The things that I remember, like everything did revolve around football, but in a good way, right? Like we, so in moving to Bosley Park, I joined the team there, which was a local Uruguayan team, Fairfield Athletics.
Which was started by Tata, you know.
Yeah.
Our grandfather started that.
And in going to that team, I ended up playing with my wife's brother at the time. So
Small
our
world.
family sort of grew up together.
Yep.
Yeah.
And every weekend we were, we were going to someone's house after games and just always hanging out. We had our team had a really close group of families that were always hanging out together. And, every year we'd have a guy come or go, but there was that sort of core group of around 6 or 7 of us that just were there right through till for about 6 years or so until you sort of got to that age of rep football, and then we all got divided and started going into our own sort of football journeys, but the family connection was still there and we'd always get together. So with my wife as well, we sort of had a little thing when we were kids, which was nothing, we went to the same school together.
They were boyfriend and girlfriend when they were little. When they were little.
How cute. Yeah.
And
Did you
they're
hold
married-
hands?
They're married, yeah.
I think we did. I think that's why she broke up with me. I was nodding the head. We sort of, we did have a little thing in primary school. We went to the same school together for a couple of years, and then we went off to high school and sort of drifted off, did our own thing for a while, and then got back together when we were, I think, 18. But yeah, So my childhood, man, like our trips to Wollongong and Canberra for state titles, national titles, indoor, outdoor, everything revolved around football from what I remember. But everything that came because of that, the parties and the, the friendships and
That's mad.
it was awesome. Yeah.
No,
So,
lifelong friendships.
Yeah,
That still,
yeah.
we get together today, like at
Yeah, yeah.
family events.
Yeah.
They're all there still. It's it's really good.
And when did football come into play in your life? Were very young?
so my dad played, and as soon as I was old enough, naturally having a boy, he got me some boots, and I think I was 4 or something that they, started getting me. They didn't have the little kickers you have now,
that's right.
Soccer Joeys, whatever it is. Where, it was straight into a full team, right? I was playing under sixes, and I was too small, so they put me in goals. So I started as a goalkeeper.
Nice.
Man, I mean, you may as well have had these Foster's cans sitting in the I wasn't stopping anything. And anything that, lucky we had a good team, so they didn't come our way all that often. But
Made you look good. Clean sheet.
yeah. and no mini fields either in the beginning.
Oh, really? Playing the whole field?
Full field, 11 players, wasn't it back then?
Yeah.
So I played from under sixes right through to under 12s. I'm pretty sure I played for Hinchinbrook.
Yeah.
And then I was never good. I went to Colo Colo.
Yeah.
I always remember the full field. I remember being little and looking at the size of the field, going, "This field's huge." Like it just felt like you were running forever to get the ball. But there was no mini fields, mod fields, nothing. It was just full field.
Yeah.
Something that we haven't
So it
touched
was.
on yet, but with Alex, for example, right? So that team that he's talking about, you were in the paper, and I've got the clippings at home.
Is
Yeah,
that
as a team.
Fairfield Athletics?
Yeah.
Champions or
As a
something?
team,
Yeah.
champions are champ. We used
Right.
to, we were good.
Everything.
Yeah, we were a good
Everything.
team.
Everyone hated Jose.
Man, you know what? They were the team that everyone was looking at.
Yeah, of
because
course.
so back then soccer was completely different to what it is now. Now it's more structured. There's more. I would say it's going in the right direction, but that's because Soccer Australia has gotten involved, right? So they're trying to make it something. But back then it was wogball, really. Let's be
Yeah, it
honest, right?
Yeah.
But this team that they had was just an incredible team, always. And then they followed that team in indoor at Bonnyrigg. I still remember the jerseys.
I remember Bonnyrigg.
Bonnyrigg Indoors.
Bonnyrigg
man,
Indoors.
that
Bonnyrigg
was
Indoor
it.
Centre. I played a couple of.
That's
we were
what
the
everyone.
man.
the purple,
everyone knows
the
everyone.
Purple Flames. That was our team's name. The Purple Flames.
Speaks volumes, right?
That's it. I remember that. We're the best.
Nah, but that was a good culture back then, man, because it was all about soccer. Like, especially with our grandfather. If Alex played in Perth, he would have driven to Perth in an hour to go watch him. He was crazy. And I was always next to him. He loved it. We all did. That was a great upbringing for us.
Yeah, man.
Always surrounded by what we love.
So with that, right? So you grew up Bosley Park. We were, well, as you know, I was around the corner from where Fub lived. So I think it was Bosley Park or Wetherill Park? Same, really. Multicultural. Growing up, yeah. What school did you go to? What primary school did you go to?
So I started at
They're immaculate.
no. Before that, Sacred Heart in Smithfield.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so I went there
Yep.
and then till year 2, and then from year 3 to 6, I went to Mary Immaculate in Bosley Park.
Yep.
And then, went to high school at Westfields, which was
Yes.
in Wakely.
The sports high, though. It was
school,
still,
yeah,
yes.
And then you went to which other high school?
Year 12, I went to the AIS, so I did a year down there
Ah, okay.
Oh, in Canberra.
in Canberra.
Yeah, right. Right. So I'm guessing up until, even in Canberra, it would have been multicultural, I guess, with all the different backgrounds going there with the sports stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
But definitely a multicultural upbringing and schooling.
Schooling, yes, because by the time we were in school already, you had kids from all over the world, especially out west. Out west, man, that area just exploded in terms of all the immigrants who came out here. So all the kids were kids of migrants basically. So we had everything at our school.
What was your group of friends?
Your hang.
Yeah.
So what did I have? We had a couple of Italian boys. That's all I can remember. A couple of Italian boys I used to hang out with. One or two Aussie boys, a Filipino boy, and good
Yeah, good mix.
group of kids. Good mix.
Was it a culture shock for you when you went to Canberra from Westfields?
Not really. By then you're already like 17. You're older, and again, everything had sort of changed in that sort of respect. So. And I wasn't at school all that much, man. Like I went to school, like at the AIS was just all football, right? We were training sometimes 3 times a day, gym, individual sessions, then a team session. and every day you're training. So it was just you go to school for your class and you're out. You know, I mean, schooling for me anyway wasn't a real focus. As much as they tried to drill it into you, you got to your results have to be good and whatever. Yeah,
it didn't really.
I'm gonna suck out. This is what I'm sticking to.
Yeah. But with the AIS, like, so you would have had to have basically moved away from home, is that right?
Yeah.
How was that?
That first time, right? Away
That
from
was
home?
hard, for me, being so close to my family. Like I remember going down there on a trial, and I had kids trialing with me from Queensland, from Perth.
Oh yeah, wow.
And to them, they just seemed like normal, you know, like, yeah, this is cool. This is what I got to do. I'm coming here, no problem. For me, I was like, I don't know if we're 2 hours from Sydney, but I don't know if I can do this. You know? And I was real worried about it. Plus the rooms as well, like it's miserable, you know, like you're talking, it wouldn't be more than
Just a
2.5
bed,
to 3 meters by 2.5 to 3 meters.
Yeah.
You know, you can fit a single bed, which I turned into a double on the ground. I couldn't walk in my room. Like I open my door, wardrobe, and I'm stepping onto my bed to go everywhere. So
And did you have a little desk?
I had a little desk
built
which
in,
was
yeah.
crammed in.
Yeah, that's all it was.
And
yeah,
man, that's it. Yeah. So you're not really, and I love my sleep. So in between classes, bang, straight to sleep, training, sleep, eat, sleep. It was,
See that runs in the family.
yes, you do love your sleep.
And,
Right?
and the thing is, that's all before like internet was big. Like there's no full communication, so
not
that would have
really.
been hard. Like
well,
giving
mobile
calls and
phones
stuff.
had just started sort of coming in. You had the
You had the Optus.
You had
free
the
time.
Optus free time,
time.
and if it was a cloudy day, it was free time
it.
past 20 minutes. You were there for ages.
Yeah.
But still, like moving away, you've got to, and again, at the AS, I'm not cooking for myself, but, you know, they've got a dining hall where you go and eat, and there's always something different. But, yeah, you're doing all that by yourself. You're, you know, doing your washing, you're big sort of shock. But, yeah, just having a group of boys there that are all in the same position, you know, you sort of lean on each other and become real close because of that. You know, you go through tough times, everyone does, but you're there for each other. That was, I loved that year that I spent there.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So with that, right? So obviously you've got a few different school, I guess, years to compare to each other, and a bit different and whatnot. With your upbringing, obviously you said you're close to your family, both of them from Uruguay. Migrated over at a young age though, but still, I'm assuming it was still quite a Uruguayan background. Do you know what I mean? Like it was more of a Uruguayan upbringing rather than an Australian, or would you say it was a mixture?
In my early years, yeah. I mean, I started school and I couldn't speak English. So,
Yeah, okay.
Did you get an ASL? Please, did you get an ASL? I can't remember.
I'm
Please say yes.
guessing I would
Yeah,
have.
you would.
Yeah, he
for
did.
sure.
No,
Yes,
yeah,
he
he's
did.
with one of us. Yes,
He doesn't remember.
yes.
That's not
shut up,
counted.
Doug. It counts.
I mean, in kindergarten, when did you go?
Oh, man, I was still going to it. What am I, 37?
You went what, year 6?
Bro, I went right up to the cutoff point. Like it was just like the
You
pen
couldn't
license.
pass the mark. Like you could have passed the exam.
Like, bro,
I don't know,
like
for
just
some
like the pen license, right? Like I didn't even actually get a pen license. They just said, "Oh, well, you're in high school now. You write with a pen." That's it. I actually didn't get. Yeah, I went to school. I had a pencil, and they're like, "You write with a pen."
This is
in
all
high
making
school.
sense now. Everything is making sense about you.
But yeah, bro, I
Each
did.
podcast we let it.
Yeah,
I did
I'm learning more
ESL,
and
bro.
more.
Did ESL a lot.
I started to rethink my
But yeah,
co-host.
so anyways, back to Alex doing ESL, just like myself. Yeah, see, we're one and the same.
But as kids, you change and adapt real quickly. Like my daughter, she was we went overseas, so her first year or two of school was in the UAE. So we took her to an international school, and she had an American teacher. So she was coming home with an American accent.
Yeah.
So it was hilarious, like listening, like people almost were like, that's not your kid. You know? So, and then moving back to Australia, moving back to Australia within a couple of months, like the accent's gone. And
No, okay.
G'day, Dad.
exactly.
All right. So you went to ESL. That's a bit.
He did. But yeah, so
like you three were born here.
yeah, shut up.
Went to ESL.
Yeah, okay,
I was born overseas.
so
Came
cool.
to Australia. All I knew was Spanish.
So cool.
Didn't go to ESL.
Yeah, right.
There was my mum said there wasn't ESL when I was in school, but we're not that far apart. I'm 82, so
Well, then maybe not.
So a lot can happen in a year, bro.
yeah, that's true.
A lot can happen in
Oh,
a year.
yeah, influx of people coming in.
Because of me that they started.
Yeah, so he might not have, because it might not have been a thing at that time. And then they started going, hey,
I want to say yes.
He did ESL.
Because
Anyway,
I did.
yeah. But yeah, so you went to primary school. You didn't speak English. So obviously you did ESL, but like your upbringing, like we was touched on that. So you were quite a Uruguayan upbringing from what you remember, and then Aussified, or was it Aussified and Uruguay? You know what I mean? With a touch.
Look, I think, like I said, there seemed to be that sort of disconnect with my parents because, you know, the flag wasn't hanging in the house, and it wasn't, you know, we're Uruguayan.
Yeah.
And I think that's because they came so young, my parents, you know.
Yeah,
so
right.
which is odd, right? Because I know the stories and everything that they sort of suffered, and how that, you know, my mum was picked on at school, the fights my dad got into at school.
Yeah.
Because he was from overseas.
Yeah, because they were from overseas, exactly. And then I thought then that bond. I see with my mum, I don't know if it made her think, well, I've got to be like them to fit in.
Yeah. Okay.
So that disconnect may have happened that way, where you know, once she got older, and obviously once I was born, there was no interest for her at all to go back, and you know, that sort of life was gone, and
fair enough.
made for her. You know, the decision to come here wasn't hers, and that's it. So she raised us as Aussie kids. You know, it wasn't so heavily Uruguayan and South American. We definitely respected and you know, knew where we were from.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're Australian. We're born here. We're Aussie.
I would say more so where it showed was through the soccer for sure.
Yeah.
Because my uncle, so it used to be kick and chase. Coaches will tell you the same thing. Don't hold the ball.
There's still a lot of fucking teams that do that.
But whereas like I would say South American style is more you take the piece first. You know what I mean? You hold the ball. That's where it sort of, and when Uruguay played as well, it was always a big thing for us, huge thing. And as well, the get-togethers that we'd have. There was no one speaking English. It was having asado.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's where it was more.
That was a Uruguayan base.
Yeah, that's where we're more Uruguayan. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Where all the families that we were with, all Spanish speaking.
Because we used to go to the Uruguayan club and do all that. So again, like I said, you never forget
of course,
your background and all of that. And that keeps you connected with a community. So we had our ways, I guess, of knowing where we were from.
Yeah, keeping that in.
I think the true measure of, if you, obviously we all say this in the podcast anyway, we Australian through and through, love this country. My parents are very much the same. They still hold a special place in their heart, but they say they're Australian. They love this country.
Yep.
But I think the true measure, do you know if you're Latin, when you're cleaning, do you play Latin music?
Well, now that you got more time, Alex.
So I'm thinking my wife does.
Yeah.
And my dad now does.
Yeah.
But nah.
You don't? Yeah, you're Aussie, bro.
Ask him if he cleans, but maybe he doesn't clean, bro.
What do you mean? I just told you. I'm here.
That's the true measure, bro. That's the true measure. I swear to God, I do it sometimes. I put it on just so the missus starts, and then I go and help her.
Which is funny. Like,
And then you stop because she's got
of course,
You want to break that routine.
I get distracted and grab a beer or something.
I was down, so I had a golf trip with my old man, my brother-in-law, like a big group of South American blokes, right? And the whole, so I came back to Sydney with my dad, had something up here, and we came back and then drove back. And the whole time it was just either like my Spotify playlist, right? Which is just whatever sort of English music.
Yeah.
And in the last 20 minutes heading back to Canberra, we just chucked some Latin on. And man, it woke us up, and we
See? Your dad was cleaning the dash.
So you still got that, you know, same as when the anthem sings, you know, you can be as Aussie as you want, but you hear the Uruguayan anthem and the goosebumps still.
It has to resonate something
You know,
to it, man.
so
It has to,
that'll always be there.
Of course.
All right, so you had a lot of parties or Uruguayan get-togethers, obviously, as a family to keep that culture alive. All Western cultures kind of define Latin party as having a piñata. Did you guys have piñatas?
Yeah.
100% staple all the time?
Bro, when we were kids, my parents used to love making them. Do you remember the ones that they used to make them, handcraft them, and these things were incredible.
Indestructible?
Sometimes, sometimes, yeah.
And in looking for, when I was with my wife, our first house, like our mates would joke because of all the pinata. Every party they come to ours is a pinata. So, but our requirement was like, all right, where can we put something so that we can hang a rope and throw it from there? You know, that was in the planning and buying a house.
I love this house, everything I want, but I can't hang a pinata from. Sorry, next one. I love that. That's brilliant.
Yeah. So my parents have
Priorities.
that now. They've added in like a massive outdoor patio area.
Yeah.
And it has like a beam across the middle, and they've
Yeah.
got pulley and everything
That's
there.
it.
So
That's
it's
what we do.
pinatas
Exactly
ready
what
to
we
go.
do.
Same thing. Yeah,
Shit,
man.
man, that's upper class.
So there's pinatas every single time at my
That
parents'
is
house.
upper class, bro.
All the time. Actually, I think I got one coming up, and my mum's got one organised at her house on Sundays. Also, another pinata.
See that
you
we didn't really have them. Like
You didn't?
no, we would go to birthday parties and a few people had them, but we didn't really even. But Uruguayans like Julio and Sarita, Avara's parents, no, they didn't really.
Yeah, but say they're Uruguayan as fuck.
They're Uruguayan as fuck, and they didn't have them. Yeah, they're Uruguayan.
I just
bro.
think that, I think it's just how you're brought up,
yeah.
really. Because if you think about it, pinatas aren't South American.
No, it's a Mexican thing,
they're
really.
Central American,
Which,
really.
yeah, your thing, Doug. Yeah,
Yeah, that's why I asked, because I know it's more as a Central American.
yeah,
thing of
it
that.
is. It is more. Yeah,
I've never been to a South American families where they have a pinata, so that's why I'm asking if you guys have the same thing. So
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
interesting to know.
We definitely do. Definitely.
And what you put in?
Just lollies.
Lollies.
Yeah, just lollies.
So when I was in El Salvador, we had one. So our second last day, family threw a party and they did a pinatas, and they make it out of chicken wire. So they do the chicken wire. They actually make the silhouette. So
yeah.
I can't remember what it was exactly. It's just, for example, it was maybe a Spider-Man. So they do the whole human literally out of chicken wire. And then they put
indestructible.
the paper mache.
That's it.
And look, I don't know if my uncle was taking the piss at that point in time, or I don't know, because we were going away and because we're from Australia. He goes, look, what we normally do, just for the adults to have fun and have a laugh at the kids, they put lollies and stuff like that, but they put crabs in there too, like live crabs. So when
the
they
fuck?
knock it and the crabs fall down, the kids go to kind of get the lollies. They have a chance for the crabs.
It's torture.
I know.
That's some sadistic shit, man. I love it.
I don't know if it's true or not. But anyway, he actually did that, but because they actually took the claws off. And they put the crabs in there without the claws. But anyway, they had it in there. But I was just
brilliant.
like, I can't believe this. This is ridiculous.
The
But,
PETA,
yeah.
if you're listening.
Hey, it's a Salvador, bro. Fuck.
It's Salvador. Hey, they got
cares?
nothing up there.
Yeah.
Peter's got no control.
Yeah, what
over
the
there,
fuck? Yeah, but it is like my wife. She's from El Salvador, and her auntie here in Australia still does her pinatas because they do them all the time. Chicken wire.
Yeah.
Whatever she makes is chicken wire, and yeah, fuck me. Like the kids probably have 4 goes each, and the parties we go to, it's my wife's cousin and her partner. They're Tongan, right? So you've met them, Haydos. But so this kid's 14, 15. He's like 6'3", and then their 12-year-old is taller than me. Not that I'm tall, but he's 12. And then their daughter, who's like 4 or 5, is taller than my daughter, who's 8. So they're big kids, and it's their cousins and all that, and they hit the shit out of this thing, and they'll get 3 goes each because it's just fucking it's crazy.
They were good times. They were really good times. And following tradition, so that's good.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is. So
we
you got
kept
to
going.
continue it on, eh?
Yeah,
all
exactly
that
right.
fun. It's fun to see the kids enjoying it.
Yeah, because it was us at one point, right?
Do you do the blindfold and spins?
Yeah, for the bigger kids.
You have
yeah.
to.
Not for the little ones.
No,
It's
nah,
funnier when
they're
there's
not
little
strong
one.
enough to break it anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
Not the chicken wire ones anyway. Yeah.
We used to hang it from our house. Do you remember upstairs, Tata's house? We used to hang
Yeah.
it from the stairs. That's how we used to do
Any
it.
injuries? You recall anyone
Nah.
get smacked?
No, not really. I don't think so.
No, I know there's a lot of close calls, man. And just kids just walking past in the middle of the swing.
Yeah.
No, that was
It's so fun, but it can be dangerous, eh?
Culture shock compared to our background to the Aussie culture. What would be the main differences that you notice?
As in comparing to, say, when you go to a mate's house who's Aussie or...
Yeah.
Maybe the hospitality
All
ones.
right, hang on. I'll throw a scenario at you. All right, you're Uruguayan. You've obviously background Uruguayan, Australian, but been to the Uruguayan barbecues where there's just kilos and kilos of asado, morcilla,
Yeah.
chorizo,
Morcilla, bro.
morcilla. Sorry,
Not Chilean.
Sorry. Chorizo, all that stuff, and plates of food and all that. And have you got into an Aussie barbecue where you've basically got to take your own shit?
Yes.
Yeah. So that type of thing, you know what I mean? Like,
Oh, well, look, I mean, that stuff is, it is the way it is. It's they, but man, I wouldn't change it at all, right? No. Like even I guess the way they are, like we see each other, the way we greet each other, hugs and kisses.
Yeah,
even if you don't know the person, but they're South American, you're giving them a kiss, and they're very. Cold is probably harsh, but cold in that respect where they don't. There's no physical sort of connection. You know, it's a bit odd. Even parents with the kids, it's. I don't know, man. Like that is weird to me. That side of it, because like with kids now, if you could hold them all day, you would. You know, like it's weird that you that they don't have that.
A little bit of a disconnect. In a way.
Yeah. So and outside of that, the food. That's probably about it. You know.
So you grew up playing, obviously Bosley Park, playing with a lot of different kids, different cultures, different time. What's your opinion on the difference now? Like you've got a couple of kids yourself, three, is that right?
Girls,
three girls, right? So we grew up playing on the streets.
Yeah.
Light, literally. I know it's a meme and people try and be funny about it, but it was legitimately the rule. The light comes on the light post, especially summertime. You go get your ass home.
Yep.
Your kids growing up, very different, same.
Yeah, and just technology's done it. You know, like it's so hard to get them outside and get them doing things, and you try and set limits on how long they can be on things. Look, to be fair, with my girls, they do dancing, and they the hours in dancing is crazy. You know, like Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays, we're taking them at 4 and we're home at around 9:30.
Oh shit!
So it's mental. They got class after class, 3 days a week. So those 3 days they don't have time to do anything. Right?
Yeah,
It's come home, have dinner, and go.
Bed.
And we're just on the go all day with taking them places. Thursday, Friday is more chill, and because they're so tired, you know, you let them watch a bit of TV, go on their phone a little bit. But so it's just trying to find that balance. But we didn't have the option, right? Like we had to go outside and kick the ball around and find ways to entertain yourself. So
you hated days like this where it was fucking raining, didn't you? Because I can't go outside.
But there'd be
Can't do anything.
There'd be a way. There'd be a part of the house that you go to when it's raining and find, you know.
Do you remember at my house? Do you remember the long hallway that we had and we'd play rolls with the ball? Or we'd play ball bombs.
What?
One on one end, one on the other end.
Yeah.
Tennis ball. I can't remember if we played it with you, but me and Bastion all the time. And we'd sit there with our legs open.
Oh, bullshit. You try to hit each other in the nuts.
Then, So you try to, you have to
Lob it.
You have to lob it, right? And if you moved or if you hit the ball out of the way, it's a free shot regardless. Regardless, bro. Doesn't matter how hard you can pick this if you want.
Yeah.
And that was our game.
But that's for me now, right? Like the kids with what they have, they got toys, they got TV, phones, and all sorts of things, man, that they can play with. You just heard there what kept us occupied and laughing for hours. You know, it was so simple,
Man.
and it was just a tennis ball. You sit there, I'm sitting here, we're trying to hit each other's nuts. That's it. And we'd play it for hours. Whereas my girls are going, there's nothing to do. I've got nothing to play with. I'm like, look at that shelf. It is full of shit. Grab something, you know, and play. Right. Find a game. I played that yesterday. All right, well, then grab that one then. Crazy how different times are.
Yeah, we met a gang, which we're still part of because we never left.
Did you have the forever in it? Like Matos Locos?
It was a cliffhanger gang.
Yeah.
The cliffhanger gang.
It was based on what, like the Power Rangers from there, right?
Love it.
What we did, So what it was you had to think of like the floor is lava.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But outdoors.
Yeah.
So you couldn't touch the ground. And in my backyard, we had 2 pergolas, one on one side, one on the other side. We had like a little swing set. We had then the neighboring fences. And so what?
The one in the middle, you had the stairs to go up to.
Stairs, yeah. So we had a double story. My grandfather built upstairs after, right? So it was like a new house on top of an old house. And the stairs were on the outside. And my mum, when she caught us doing this, and I understand her now. At the time I didn't. We would climb on the outside of the frame, going up.
Okay.
Oh my God.
All the way up.
Yeah.
You're talking about like 6 meters high.
Yeah.
That's not a That's not small.
No.
Bro, if you let go, you're dead.
That's it. You're done. Yeah.
Breaking
But
something.
you're for sure.
Yeah, but right or die, bro. Cliffhanger.
Man,
That's it.
Cliffhanger gang.
And the game was all right. We need to get to there to get whatever was over there, and you can't step on the ground.
You can't
so
step on the
you have
ground.
to climb your way.
bro, we jump from like the swing set, like the top of it.
Yeah.
We're like
Balancing.
bro,
Fuck.
balancing, walking on the
Yeah.
top of it,
Yeah,
right, on the
yeah,
top
yeah.
rail. And then from there, jumping to the fence and hoping to God you catch it.
So in other words, these guys are the ones who invented parkour.
Parkour. You guys
Okay.
did parkour before it was a thing.
That, yeah,
I don't know what
yeah,
that
you know
is.
what? I claim that. Yeah, that.
Yeah. Parkour
Exactly.
is
That's
that.
it.
That is
Cliffhanger.
parkour.
Jumping from what? Well, have you ever seen the show The Office or heard of the show? Yeah. All right.
Which,
So
which version? The
the US
American.
one, Steve Carell. All right. So go on YouTube and do The Office parkour. That's parkour.
Yeah. Parkour.
Nah,
we-
it's
Literally
But
jumping
that's-
from thing.
But
yeah,
that's what
it's
we'll
like
do.
building the building shit. Yeah,
As well, I
like
remember
crazy
because
stuff.
we live literally down the road from each other.
Yeah.
And Alex would just rock up on his bike.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing? Nothing. Let's go for a bike ride. Even when we were like 15, 16. And we in Smithfield. So from Bosley Park to Smithfield is no small feat.
No, no.
Like you're,
it wouldn't
you're,
be at all.
you're
No.
riding for a while.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you remember do you remember the jump park that we went? We went once or twice.
Where at?
Smithfield, Victoria Road.
Okay.
Right. So back, there's all like warehousing now, but it was there were jumps and stuff
Yeah,
that were
TAFE.
actually made. Yeah, across the road from the TAFE, further down where the big roundabout is.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, I know what you're
Across the
talking
road
about.
from the
Yeah.
roundabout, there were jumps.
Yeah.
Oh man.
There were mad jumps.
Yeah, man.
And we knew nothing about that, but we'd still go there. Man, I remember I killed myself. I remember I hurt myself here and it caned. And I didn't give a shit. I went and did it again. It was just different times, man.
Could you imagine doing that now? They're like riding a bike,
Oh, bro,
20
that's-
Ks.
hip-
Oh, fuck,
hip
man, I'd be
replacement.
dead. I'd be dead. And then,
replacement.
jumping and falling off.
No, hip replacement, just riding there.
I'll come back. I'll get like rash between my thighs, sore ass.
Look, I would say we had a mad time growing up. We really did.
And that's where you feel sorry for the kids these days. And there's not much you can do. To be fair, like you said, am I going to let them go and ride 20 minutes to a friend's house?
Oh, bro, our
I don't
parents
know.
didn't
I
know
don't know
that.
if I would do that.
Mate, I'm the same, man. Like we talked about it an episode or two ago where, it's like you hear all these stories, these horror stories of, cars and all this shit. And like our parents had no idea where we were. They literally had no clue, or they had an idea that he was either there or there.
Yeah.
But that's it. Where now, like, apps and phones and tracking them. But yeah, even then it's like, I just want to go up down the road. Oh, I don't know.
But everyone was mindful in their own respect, right? Because like on our street, for example, we'd play. You remember? We played cricket on the street, or we'd play bombs
Everyone
on the
would
street.
like not even 5Ks.
Yeah.
The car would
But
just come rolling in.
the car would literally be already going into that street slow, knowing there might be something.
Knowing.
Tell me the last time you saw kids, like 20 kids on a bike.
No, it
together.
doesn't happen, man.
No, then if there was, I'd be calling the cops. They're up to no good.
No, but that
Old
was-
man Doug strikes again.
What are they doing?
But that was
That's
us.
up to
Do you
no
remember you finish high school, you go meet at somebody's house. You're not there
Yeah,
at 4
yeah,
o'clock.
yeah.
Tough shit. Go home.
That's it.
Or
yeah.
find us.
Yeah.
All right, so Alex, you've lived around the world. You mentioned that before. You've moved around in different places. Now, if you compare that to living in Australia, is there a difference? And what do you like about living in Australia compared to wherever else you live so far?
Yeah, look, every country definitely different. They each have their things. One of my favourites, but again, no place like home for me.
Yeah.
I think Australia, we're so lucky here in the country that we live in. We've got everything accessible to us. We've got great weather, beautiful beaches, cities. It's a clean, very livable city. The crime is we don't see much of compared to everywhere else in the world, but. So I've lived in 3 other countries. In Belgium for 1 year. I was 20 when I moved there.
Oh, wow.
And moved to a small town called Westerlo, which it's funny. Everywhere I lived overseas was always out in the middle of nowhere. Even in the UAE, where so in Belgium you're thinking Brussels, Bruges.
Yeah.
No, nowhere. I was an hour in between all of them and nowhere. This town would not have been. Oh man, the street. It had one main street. It had a stadium. It had a nightclub behind where I lived. I could see all of it from like the second floor of where we were. So I lived down the bottom with my wife, just a sort of small little place, and everywhere was no more than 5 minutes. So you had a bike, you were fine. You didn't need a car.
Yeah, mad.
Yeah.
that place. Well, not mad when you
Actually, fair call. Yeah.
you know when you're 20 and you're looking for things to
Were
do.
you paying attention to what he said before?
My bad.
It
Actually, yeah.
depends what
Nah,
sort of
fair
life
call,
you
'cause I
live,
was
to mention
you know?
about the car that he had when
Yeah.
it was a Skyline, remember?
Here, yeah.
No, but fair because I was just thinking of my life now. Like, oh, that's so convenient. I wasn't thinking of a 20-year-old. Fair call,
right,
bro.
that's
Fair call.
So man, it had like one of everything: one post office, bakery, little shops, everything. And look, it was good. It was my first sort of experience moving overseas, away from home. Lucky, I went with my wife. We weren't married at the time, but we'd sort of recently hooked up again. And again, because of our history, like for her, it was the right thing to do to come and leave. A lot of people, like looking back now, or even some of the mums she would speak to, she's 20-year-old. Some of the guys in my team, like obviously more experienced guys, their wives would talk to her and go, "You're not married and you went with him? Like, you're crazy." It's like, yeah, but I've known him since I was like 6, so it's different, right? But if she wasn't there, man, I would have been home a lot sooner. It was difficult. Being that close to family, it was hard for me. And that's where you sort of realize, man, these guys who went young and stayed there in lower leagues and then sort of fought their way through and ended up having successful careers. For me anyway, like knowing how difficult that is from a mental point of view.
Yeah.
I had an injury like 2 weeks into being there. My first game, it was a corner, crosses come in, keepers landed on my ankle, tore ligaments, so I was out for a month.
Ouch.
So here I am, I've just gone to the other side of the world. I'm doing laps on my own, in the freezing cold in this place. I'm just thinking, what am I doing here? And it was hard, really hard. So I haven't heard there was good, but 20-year-old kid. So that was a real culture shock for me, but I enjoyed the experience of it.
Was that when you moved to Feyenoord as well?
Nah, so that never happened. I signed with Feyenoord.
Yeah.
But immediately went on loan. So I went straight out to Belgium.
Yeah.
So this is this after Canberra?
This is after Canberra. Yeah, not straight after. So
Couple of years.
Yeah, a couple of
Yeah,
years.
couple
So
of
I
years.
played a couple of years at Marconi. And then from there, I signed.
Oh, that's right.
We
Yeah.
speak
I
about
remember
them, so I
NSL,
love
man.
them.
Yeah,
They were brilliant days.
Marconi.
Fuck
Good
yeah.
days. Good days. Yeah.
50
I still
cents.
remember, man, actually, Mum showed me the other day the video she's got of your first goal.
Oh, yeah.
The screamer you scored at Marconi for the Stallions. That was, she still got that.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
And then, so I've lived once I got a bit older and sort of off the back of winning a championship here, just the timing of it and realizing, all right, I'm getting a bit older here. I'm probably going to need to start looking at financially, setting things up. And an opportunity came up to go to Japan. And I thought, look, it's a good test. I've just come off at Sydney winning a championship, where to now? I probably need that next challenge in my career. And then again, financially, I need to start worrying about that. So this opportunity came up to go to Japan. And again, you think Japan, you think Tokyo, Osaka. Man, I'm straight bang in the middle of both of them. And now we're out in this
Did you have a
small
bike?
town. Did have a bike there as well.
No, but go off that because that was very interesting, actually. I remember, I can't remember where I was, but Mum called me and she goes, "Alex is going now.
Yeah.
We
It
have
all
to go to the
happened
airport
quick.
now."
Yeah, it all happened
And we're
quick.
like, "What are you talking about?" And I think it was Mark Rudden that organised it or something.
Well, he helped. His agent at the time sort of got in touch with me, and it sort of went from there. But yeah, I had a court case against Sydney because Sydney were trying, due to a clause in my contract to keep me from going. I was trying to use a different way of actually going, and then once it got signed off, and it was a court of arbitration sort of ruled in my favour that night. It was. Bang, 2 days later, I was
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
packing and
So
going.
bang,
Yeah.
bang.
So I didn't know it was going to happen, and then happened. Bang, you got to go. So it was
Oh, shit.
It was legit, man. I was
Pretty quick, yeah.
somewhere and my mum goes, "We got to go now because Alex is going." I'm
Yeah.
like, "Where's he going?" She goes, "I'm pretty sure. I think Japan." I'm like, "What?" And bro, an hour later we're at the airport saying, "Bye."
Well, how old were you then?
older then, but I had like a 10-month-old. So
Oh,
it was,
shit, that's
yeah, it was
big.
like shit. All right, we're taking the family.
All
you
of a
know?
sudden, it's a bit different, isn't it? That whole
Yeah,
dynamic.
100%.
Yeah.
But Japan, oh man, I can't speak highly enough of the country, of the people, of just how incredible. I mean, we're lucky here. I think the Japanese would have to see it the same way for
Yeah.
them. You know, it's such a beautiful country, and the respect they have for each other. That's something that is sort of that I noticed. You know, like as like young kids coming through the teams these days have a lot more arrogance and entitlement about them, and they speak back, and it just would never have happened when I was coming through, right?
Yeah,
And I noticed that that's still the case there. The respect that the young players have for the older ones, and just in general life as well. Like they're quiet, they're respectful, they don't talk out of place, or they don't talk back to an adult.
Yeah.
Just incredible, man. Like as people, the culture was phenomenal. So I loved my time in Japan. They go out of their way to help you. They see you're a foreigner, and they leave what they're doing to come and make sure you can get to where you need to get to.
Yeah. That's like we had a guy called Will before, and he said he just came back from Japan. Same experience. Like they just went on holidays, trying to find where they had to stay in a hotel room. Google Maps wasn't helping them, and just a random couple decided to help and dropped everything. They actually took them to the hotel.
So they gave them directions.
Yeah.
And it was wrong. They went after them and said, "Oh, it's the wrong directions," and walked them to the very door of the hotel, and then went on their way.
Yeah.
Well, I did something similar. I was driving, couldn't find a place, just pulled over at a servo. And I mean, obviously I can't speak Japanese, but I'm trying to show this guy on the map where it is, and he can see it. And he left his shop, the petrol station, jumped in his car, and like was like that. We followed him down the road. This guy's left his petrol station.
Fuck.
wow.
That's crazy, man.
It is crazy. Yeah. So beautiful people.
Cool. Yeah, man.
The football side of it, great as well. The fans are so good. And
Just
then
in a shit location, you were saying.
well, again, I wouldn't say shit location, just not where not a major city.
Yeah,
you know?
Not what you'd expect.
No,
yeah.
no. You're thinking, I'm going to Japan, I'm going to Tokyo. Right?
Yeah.
And the last one, so I went to the UAE, and everyone knows Dubai, Abu Dhabi. Yeah, where do you think I was? An hour into the desert, middle of nowhere. So in a town called Al Ain, which is where the royal family come from, and a beautiful little city, but again, just not what you'd expect when you're going there. So I told my missus.
You didn't have a bike. You had a camel at that time.
How was that? How was it?
That would've been
being there, like in
To get riding the camel.
How was the camel?
I was riding the camel. Actually, we've done that.
No. Actually, being so, obviously 3 very different countries, right?
Yeah, big time.
But with the money that the Saudis have, like, was that a different experience? Like, how did they treat you?
completely. Well, I mean, even before getting onto that, so you were talking about how quick leaving from Sydney to Japan. My dad was visiting on holiday while I was in Japan, and I'd had a game away with the national team, came back, and there were, I'd spoken to someone about a possible move to the UAE, and it all happened really quick. Look, mate, it's on. For months I'd heard, look, this club's interested. Nothing happened. Then it was like, mate, it's on. A player's been injured. They want you there now. Season's just started. I'm like, okay. Mate, you're flying out tomorrow for a medical. I'm like, okay. So I did that. Came back, and this happened. They tried to keep me there. They didn't actually want me to go back to Japan. They're like, is your wife there? I'm like, yeah. Get her to pack everything and come over. I'm like, she's got 2 kids. There's no way. Actually, no, she had still the one at the time.
Yeah.
I said, no way, I'm going home.
Do you know a Latin woman?
Yeah.
Are you fucking serious? Do you want to make that call?
Yeah, so I said, look, listen, I'm going home. I'll be back in, just give me 2 days to get everything organised.
Yeah.
So I did that and then went back, and we had to leave straight away. So I left my dad in Japan. So he had to,
shit.
My dad had to give the keys back to our apartment. We packed everything up. He's like, geez, I came to see you. And he left me there. So again, that's how it works. That's how quick it was. But
Wow.
big culture shock you talk about money, right? And again, don't want to sort of generalize between the 2 cultures, but it's certainly different. There's
It would be.
There's a way of entitlement and arrogance that they have because of that. They almost feel like, well, I've got money. Not I'm better than you, but you're the help, or you're here for this.
Okay.
I can treat you how I want type thing. Like I saw it happen within the football, the way we had a guy, a Brazilian international, Michel Bastos, right? Incredible player. He was playing at Lyon. They signed him on a 4-year deal. In 6 months, they weren't happy. He wasn't scoring a hat-trick every game. So they're like, oh, you're not doing enough. They didn't want to pay him out entirely. They're like, all right, we'll loan you out. So he went to Roma
Wow.
and played Champions League. So he wasn't good
the
enough.
heck?
He wasn't good
Fuck
enough.
it, hell.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck me.
Wasn't good enough for the UAE Pro League, but all right, I'll go play Champions League.
And then-
for Roma,
no
you
shit.
know.
And Alex was like, "Can you loan me out? Can I get loaned out, please, to Roma?"
Yeah, so that's how it is, and you sort of see it a little bit day to day as well. You know, like you're being from there. There's they don't take all that well. There's a lot of expats and foreigners, and being from there, you know, a lot of the men and ladies, they'll sort of just cut in front to the start of the line, you know, because well, it's their country, you know, so you've got to wait. Which again, thinking of Japan and how they were, they put you first, you know, so very, very different.
Wow.
And then you start to see a lot of things, the way that you know, a lot of people there, they have you know, people come and help the family and do the groceries for them, and you're like, man, it's the lifestyle's so good here. How hard is it to carry your own shopping, you know,
Yeah.
or to take your kids down to the park and push them on the swing rather than to have and they pay them nothing, you know, the help, and it's just hard seeing that when you're not used to it, and you
Yeah.
you know, you've seen the sacrifices your parents have made as for you as children,
Yeah.
and how the respect that you've been brought up to show, and then experiencing that in Japan, to then seeing the complete opposite almost here, and it's hard. The longer you're there, the harder it is to tolerate and see, and you're almost like, man, I need to get out of here. So
Fuck. Didn't think it. Yeah, that's a really good insight into that.
Yeah, it
How long were you there for?
for 2 seasons, and again, don't get me wrong, the lifestyle there, you have Dubai and your beaches and your and your all that side of things, and Abu Dhabi, incredible. Like the amount of money they spent on making it a great place, and it is.
Yeah.
But it's the things that you sort of that people don't see that you do when you're living there day to day, that sort of just put you off a little bit, you know.
No, fair enough, man. That's
I remember when you were in Japan, I finished work in the city and get to Fairfield Station, and there was a little corner store there, and they had a TV right on the corner facing out, right? So I was there at the time, I was smoking cigarettes, so I went and bought a packet of cigarettes. I looked up and I'm like, that's a big fucking tsunami. I'm like, where's that at?
Oh yeah.
I'm like, that's fucking Japan. I'm like, that's Alex, bro. I called you straight away. And he's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, there's a fucking huge tsunami, like huge. He goes, oh, was that earthquake from before? I'm like, yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
The buildings you were saying, you're like, bro, I didn't feel it
Yeah.
because everything
built.
It's
built
built for it. Yeah.
built for that.
Yeah,
that
man.
place is
Which
just
is scary.
incredible.
It is scary. That happened a month of me being there. And I'd heard, look, the building will shake from time to time, but you get an alert. And I'm like, well, I can't see how that's a good thing. I don't want you to know that I'm about to start shitting my pants because there's an earthquake coming, and I don't know how big it's going to be. You know? So that thing used to rock me. You'd be in bed and you hear the alarm going off, and there's a countdown, and you're just bracing, thinking, "Oh, fuck, how much am I going to be swaying?" And it's, man, I can't even tell you the feeling. It's so odd to be on land and feel like you're on water. You know, like you're on land. It's supposed to be firm, hard surface, and I'm swaying side to side. Man, it's anyway. So I heard
That'd be a spin out, man.
It is,
Yeah,
it is
big time.
massive. So I'd heard going there. Look, that's going to happen every now and then. They get earthquakes, no big deal. So this one happened, and I was at the train station. I was about to take off that afternoon for a game. So I went to lunch with my wife. We're sitting there eating, and sort of noticed the lights moving, swaying a little bit, and yeah, it was our first experience. So we're like, wow, this is like crazy, you know, like it's odd. But we noticed that there was a big panic, and I was like, yeah, let's go. You know, this doesn't seem right. This can't be how they react every time there's an earthquake, you know, especially if it happens every week. There's more to it. And we walked past sort of where the trains come, and they'd all been stopped. There was a news crew there, and we thought, yeah, this is big. We walked back to our place. The lifts weren't working, so I had to walk up 14 flights of stairs. Got in, turned the TV on. And we saw everything that was happening, and it was like, man, this is insane. So a month into being there, and again, seeing how they reacted and how positive and everything they were, man, incredible.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, man, that's an experience, eh?
That's crazy. That's again, it seems to be so like eventful. Like I try and picture it. Like I try and picture. Like I've been to Chile a couple of times. We've been overseas, like Hawaii holidays and all that. But it's crazy, like living in another country. Like the longest I could say was, we spent 3 months in Chile, and we lived there for 3 months. So you get accustomed to the lifestyle, but you like uprooted your life. And I think it gives an insight to what your parents had to go through, really, doesn't it?
Yeah, at that age as well, 13, 14, 15,
man.
like different. And to be fair, like it came with its issues, right? I know that. So my uncle, for instance, he struggled in a different way, you know, like imagine being a 13, 14, 15-year-old kid and your parents saying, right, we're going to the other side of the world. Well, I got my friends, I'm here. Right. So for him in particular, it was difficult in coming here and so yeah, I think depending on the age you come, the circumstances you come, our little one, she just went with the flow. She didn't know where she was, you know. So for them, but you do think by the time they start to get old enough to understand what's happening, I want to be settled. I want to be back home. So there was always that thought in the background. But even in going away, like to Japan, the idea was let's stay here as long as we can.
Yeah,
we didn't know when we'd be coming home, and I think that was the hardest part for me as a 20-year-old going to Belgium. I thought, all right, well, this is what I'm supposed to do. So that's me for the next 10, 15 years in Europe.
Right.
You know? And that scares you, you know. Like, it scared me. It was like the initial going there and thinking that, and then, you know, you come home for a Christmas break and just that buzz of being home again, being with family, and then you're back on a plane. You think, man, I've got to do this for 10 years. It's hard. It's hard mentally. It is difficult.
But for you, it worked out. Man, you couldn't write it better for you.
Yeah, look, I feel like I was lucky in just the way that my journey was, you know, in going overseas, that as a 20-year-old, I wasn't ready, and it wasn't for me, you know, like the whole, that whole journey of going to Europe, mentally, it wasn't for me. So I came back, the A-League had just started. We didn't know whether that was going to be good, shit. We didn't know anything, and it sort of went well. Then I was more mature and realized right now I'm ready to go again. I went for a couple of years, came back, played another 5 years. Yeah, like I just look back at the whole journey and experiences and just think, man, like people ask about, say, what's the best part? What achievements do you like the most? And for me, it's having done it for as long as I did till the day that I didn't want to do it anymore, and just the way that it's sort of the journey that I had, you know, I was able to play in front of family and friends and be around. That's when I was always most comfortable. So just that whole journey was awesome.
And you've shown that. There's a clip that's online. Can't remember which game it was. Pretty big fucking game. And you were going around saying hi to the crowd, and you saw Bastian, my younger brother, and your face, you just ran straight up to him. He was like, my brother was losing his shit, Alex was losing his shit.
Man,
like you felt that, you could feel that. Even with me, man, seeing me, like it was always
and you
mad.
don't get that when you're overseas.
No,
you know? Like,
100%.
It's different. Different pressures, different things, but it just doesn't. As much as people, and that's where you think when people like foreigners come here and they try and pump up the Derby or Big Blue or different games, and you're like. Knowing, like when I went to Japan and played in a derby there, they pump it up and they try and tell you how big it is, but it just doesn't feel the same.
Yeah.
So there's nothing like being here.